Hi all, this video is about hierarchical clustering. So it is an algorithm that builds hierarchy of clusters. This algorithm starts with all the data points assigned to a cluster of their own. Then two nearest clusters are merged into the same cluster. In the end, this algorithm terminates when there is only a single cluster left. Let's look into the differences between the hierarchical and the k-means clustering. In hierarchical clustering, it starts by taking each data to be an individual cluster. It builds the cluster incrementally, producing a dendrogram. Whereas the k-means clustering, it starts by assigning a value k, which denotes the number of clusters to be formed. And in hierarchical clustering, at each step, two clusters are merged, and then the process continues till all the clusters are merged. In k-means clustering, at each step, the centroids are recalculated and the sample values are reassigned according to the calculated centroid. So in hierarchical clustering, the main disadvantage it has is that it cannot handle big data as well as the k-means clustering does. This is because of the fact that the hierarchical clustering has a time complexity which is quadratic, whereas the k-means cluster has a time complexity that is linear. So linkage. There are three types of linkages that are available to measure the proximity between the two clusters. So first is the single linkage. It is the distance between the two clusters. That is the shortest distance between any 2 points in the cluster. And then the complete linkage, here the distance between the two clusters is the longest distance between any 2 points in the cluster. And then in the average linkage, the distance between the two clusters is the average distance between any 2 points in the cluster. So let's look into the advantages of hierarchical clustering. The first advantage is the information about number of clusters is not required here. And the second advantage is it is easy to implement and it gives best results in some cases. So now let's look into the disadvantages of hierarchical clustering. As said, it works best for some cases, but then it does not for very large data sets, and as the complexity increases, it does not perform well. The second disadvantage is sometimes it is difficult to identify the number of clusters from the dendrogram as it becomes quite huge. So yeah, thank you.